Hello and welcome to PK Glitz. I'm Janelle Marshall. Our class today is going to be on dimensional flowers. This is one I think you're really going to enjoy. For today's project, we're going to need the following items. First and foremost, we're going to need our Wonder Film and our acetates in the dimensional flowers group. I've chosen to do the crocus today and then also chosen a little leaf pattern. Now, along with those, we're going to need our heat tool. We're going to need cardstock for our card, a small piece of foamy. I'm going to show you a little trick with that. Our 1/4 inch sticky tape. I've chosen 4 colors of glitz: gilded grape leaf, sandy beach, sweet pea, and fuchsia for today's project. Now, of course, we'll also need scissors, application spoon. We're going to need a pipe cleaner or chenille stem. Color is not important. We're going to cover the color. Your anti-static brush, your craft knife, a glue pen, again for another little trick later on as we finish our card, and a clear drying glue. I'm using the 3D lacquer by Sakura. I've chosen for our flower today the lovely little crocus. It's such a pretty little flower and very easy to make. It has a rather interesting stamen on the center, and that's what we're going to make first because it will take just a little while for that to dry. Start by getting your little chenille stem or pipe cleaner, and we're going to fold it a little bit of an accordion type of fold. Using my application spoon, I'm simply going to fold the chenille stem over one time, then come on the other side, back up. Then we'll go back, fold it down, then come back, fold it up, and once more, in, fold it down. Now we've got 3 little loops here, and we're simply going to separate those 3 loops, give them a pinch so that they're a little bit smaller. There we go. And there is our center for our crocus flower. But it needs a little bit of pizzazz, so we're going to work on that as well. Let's take some of our 3D lacquer, our glue, and I'm just going to take the top off of mine because I want to get a pretty good little portion of this, and I'm just going to paint my whole little chenille stem stamen with the 3D lacquer. I just want to get it all over there because you know what we're going to do. We're going to come in here with our glitter glitz and turn that little fuzzy yellow into a gorgeous, bright golden color. Let's just get that out of our way. Come right over here to our sandy beach, and we'll just go right in there, knock away the excess. If I had gotten my little coffee filter the way I normally do, I would have caught all that excess. There we go. Let's just give it a few good taps, getting a little extra off, and be sure that it's well covered. I believe that it is. It looks pretty good. So now we're just going to set this aside and let it dry while we work on the flower itself. The crocus flower is a very simple little pattern. You get several pieces on your acetate sheet, and we're going to cut 2. It's going to take 2 to give us our dimension. So I'm just going to come in here and cut 2 of my little flowers away. Get rid of that balance. And once again, just divide those 2. Now remember, with our acetates, there is a top, very, very shiny, and a bottom that's a little more dull. You can actually even feel the print on that particular side. Now that's the side that's going to go down onto our Wonder Film. So let's take our Wonder Film now. Just place our little crocus pattern right on top of there. Now we want to make it as close as we can, but don't short yourself so that you can't get the whole flower on there. Okay? And we're going to need 2 of those. So let's just go ahead and cut another piece while we're there. There we have it. But anything we save, of course, we can use for other things later on, whether it's glue dots, adhesion, whatever we like. So I'm just going to set that aside for a moment now. Now, let's just worry that edge till we get that apart. That side has nothing on it. We'll just get rid of that. And then, with the sticky side up, and just hold it as gingerly as you can, and the dull side of the pattern down, we're just going to put that right on top of our Wonder Film. Just like so. Be sure it's on there nice and tight. Let's do the same thing with the other piece so that we have both of these ready to go. And then we're simply going to cut them out. So here we go once again. Get our dull side of our pattern down. You know it's going to fit on there. We cut it with the right size, so we just have to trust ourselves and go ahead and lay it down. If by some wild chance you happen to get outside of your pattern, you can simply go in with another little tiny piece of Wonder Film, go into the area that you missed, and just overlay it. Once you put the color on, you'll never see it, so not a problem. Now, let's get in here and just cut out our pattern. With your scissors, just cut right up to the line. Leave the line if you can. I think that gives us a little better look on our piece. All the way around. We're going to cut both of these out very quickly. When you're cutting with your scissors, you are cutting the Wonder Film, and you may occasionally have a little bit of buildup of the Wonder Film on your scissors. You know what I find really works well for me? I keep a glass scraper in my tool kit, and I simply just run over the blades with that glass scraper. That cleans off the sticky part, and then if you're a real purist, you can get some of the Goo Gone, and then that will take any little extra residue right off your scissors. Wonder Film has so many fun uses. It's the one that actually can go on any surface: wood, metal, plastic, acrylic, fabric. Yes, it goes on fabric. If you put it on fabric and add your glitter that way, I usually wash my material cold and let it drip dry. But it is a wonderful film. That's why we called it Wonder Film. You can just do so many neat things with it. And using it as we are here to dimensionalize our flowers is just one of the things that we like to do. We hope that you're enjoying our Jammie classes. We sure are enjoying doing them for you, and that you've learned some things and shared it with your friends and family members. There we go. Just as quick and easy as that. Now we'll get rid of those extra pieces. Now we have 2 of our crocus flowers on the Wonder Film. So now we're going to add the color. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of my little coffee filters that I love to use over here to catch my excess glitter. And I'm going to use 2 colors on my crocus. I'm not worrying about the center because we've actually made a little piece for that. But I am going to use a little double color on this. So, quickly, we're just going to peel this piece away. Once again, we'll just toss that one. And I think I'm going to do both of these at the same time because I'm going to be using the same colors on both of them. Remember, I told you once before, if you've ever seen me do a demo on Wonder Film, on a scale of 1 to 10 on 60, on a scale of 1 to 10, excuse me, on sticky, I'll get it out, it's about an 11 and a half. It is a very, very sticky substance, and sometimes can be a little bit hard to let go of. There we go. Now let's take our application spoon. We're going to take our lighter color, the sweet pea, and I'm just going to drizzle that color in the center of my crocus, okay, on both of them. We'll just go ahead and do both of them at the same time. Right in the middle of the flower, we're going to drizzle that sweet pea. Now let's just flip him over. Let any extra just fall away. We'll put him over here for color number 2. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Just toss him over, give him a little tap, and put him over here for color number 2. Now the second color is this rich, wonderful fuchsia. And we're going to add that once again on both. And I'm not even going to worry about using my application spoon on this. I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle both flowers now totally with that fuchsia color. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that color. And once again, we're just going to tap away the extra. Sometimes I just take my fingers and just kind of mash around on it a little bit. I just want to be really sure that everything on there is sticking really well. Then I'm going to take my anti-static brush, brush away any of the extra, both bottom and top. We want to be sure we don't have any little excess left behind. Give him a little tap. That's going to go right back in the jar. And then again, let's just brush away any of the extras, bottom and top. Now there's our 2 beautiful petals. Aren't they gorgeous? Now we're going to do a little something else with them. This is why I love my coffee filters. Look how easily that just goes right back in that jar. Now we can use that another time. We're going to do a couple of other things with our flowers here so that we can give them a more realistic look. First of all, we're going to cut right along the petal line towards the center. Just about like so on all of the petals. And again, we're doing this so that we can give him a little more realism when we put him together. Didn't get that one. Let's go back and cut that one once again. Okay. Did we get all of them? I think we did. And let's do the same thing now on this second one. Just cut to within maybe a fat 1/4 of an inch towards the center. We want, like I say, we want to be able to give him some realism, but we don't want to cut the little petals clear off. So we'll just cut it towards that center area. That looks good. Now we've got all of our petals separated. Now one of the things that I have found with my Wonder Film is there are 2 ways that you can create movement, dimension, or height with them. One is simply folding the piece over, and it's in the same way that we do the butterfly wings. Give it a hard pinch and it will stay in that shape. It will stay bent. But I've also found that you can use a little bit of a heat process to get a nice bend that stays. It becomes a permanent part of the bend in the acetate. Now you'll find your own little ways of doing this, but let me show you mine. I'm going to use something that's about the diameter of the curve that I want here in the center, and I just set my little flower right on top of there. Then I need something that won't melt, so I'm probably going to use my craft knife here just to sort of hold it in place. And this is where we're going to use our heat tool. We want to be sure that we're not going to burn the piece, so less is more in this particular case. And remember that we want to warm the heat tool up before we actually use it. I'm simply using my craft knife just to hold it in place. I'm going to turn my heat tool on. I'm going to warm the leaves on one side, or the petals rather, and then I'm going to lay my heat tool down and kind of cup them or curve them down. I'm explaining that ahead of time because I know the heat tool does get a little noisy. So here we go. We're letting it warm up first. After we're sure that it's fairly warm, then we're just going to come in here and go over the top of that acetate. We're just coming in, just kind of warming up all those petals. Turn it off, come over, and just sort of hold it down. Okay? As it's cooling, it's going to be capturing that shape. Now we're going to turn it around, and we're going to do exactly the same thing over on the other side. Once again, let it warm up. After you feel like it's warm, come in. Just warm up those petals over on the other side. Once you feel like they're fairly warm, off, curve, and hold. Okay? Until you feel like it's cool, maybe the count of 5 or 10. Now, when we take this off this time, see how we have a permanent little curve? And that's there to stay. That's not going to relax out the way some will. So let's do the same thing on our second piece. Once again, glitter side up, shiny side down, hold in place, take your heat tool, warm 3 of the petals, about 1/3 to 1/2 of it, off, curve, and hold. So let's put those to the side, and let's look at putting our piece together now. Couple of things. First of all, I want just a little more curve, so I'm going to actually reach in there and pinch that just a little bit so that they're not all curving the same way in the same amount. So that gives that a little bit different look, a little more interesting look to me. And now we're going to get ready to put our centerpiece right down the middle of our little crocus. Now we're going to get our craft knife out. Just makes it a little easier to insert our little stamen. And I usually keep a little foam pad. If you've got any extra of those little coffee pads or those old mouse pads that we used to use, they're wonderful for this. I have my little stamen, remember that we made? We let that dry a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is just kind of overlap my petals. With my craft knife, just put a little cut right down the center. Then, taking my little stamen piece right through the middle, and sometimes it's easier to do them 1 at a time rather than 2 at a time. There's one, and I'll just match that up with a little pattern that was already on there. And here's our second one, right down through the center once again. And then kind of alternate the petals a little bit so that it's got a little bit more character. Okay, and just like that, we have a beautiful little crocus flower. Isn't that just gorgeous and so easy to do? Now we have several other patterns, and I'm going to show you more of those in the gallery. But let's use these to put together a sweet, simple card that is just phenomenal. I've prepared a little triple cardstock color here, and I'm going to add my 2 little crocus right here on my little card. Isn't that just going to be stunning? I think that's just going to be beautiful. We can do this in a couple of ways. We need to make that back as flat as possible when we're going to put it here on our card. So I pull that pretty tightly and then wrap it sort of tight so that I can set both of those down fairly flat. And then that means, of course, we're going to come in here and just get rid of that little extra bit of chenille stem that we don't need. Then we're always going to have little extra bits of our Wonder Film left over. And you know, if you've seen any of my classes before, I use my Wonder Film for everything. It is a great adhesive, so we're just going to cut a little piece of it off here, and we're going to use that to adhere our flowers onto our card. Now let's go ahead and just worry that till it comes apart. Put a piece of that on the back of our little crocus. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. Then we'll simply peel away the paper and leave that sticky part behind. And one of our little flowers is going to go, oh, I think about there. There we go. Make sure it's on there nice and tight for you. And then let's do the same thing over here on the other side. Let's take another piece of our Wonder Film. Let's worry and apply. Mechanics are so important when you're putting something together. It's one thing to create a lovely piece, but it's another if it arrives and falls apart. That's not any fun. So we want to be sure that when we put our pieces together, they are nice and sturdy so that we don't have to worry about something coming undone. I have a little verse on this card. It's a Chinese proverb, and it says, "The fragrance of roses stays on the hand
of the one who gives them away. Isn't that a sweet saying? I love that. Okay, there's our flower. But you know, something's missing. What do you suppose that is? That's right, the leaves. We have 8 different sheets of leaves, all different patterns. You get many, many pieces on an acetate sheet. So I'm going to take a couple. I already prepared these ahead of time just to save us a little time. I chose a couple of little leaves here, cut one out already. I'm going to go ahead and cut the second one out, and then we're going to color those, and let me show you just what an addition they make on your card. Some of the leaves are simpler than others. They're just all different patterns, rose leaves, little long skinny leaves, little chrysanthemum leaves, all kinds of fun ones. But just that quick and easy, we've cut it out. We're going to use our gilded grape leaf as our color, and I'm going to show you a fun little trick. When you're taking the Wonder Film off the back of your leaf, take your craft knife and just make a little half moon. Be sure not to cut all the way through. We're just cutting through the paper, not through the acetate. Then when you peel that paper away, first of all, you have something to hold on to because we still have just a little bit of that paper attached right here. But secondly, once you have your color done and you attach this to your card, you have your adhesive already there. You don't need to worry about adding a second adhesive. So let's do that again. Let's just cut a little half moon just like so. Again, don't cut all the way through the acetate. Just a nice little thin cut. Throw that away. Got something to hold on to. That's nice. And then let's come over and take our gilded grape leaf. Now I'm going to do one other thing too. I'm going to take just a teeny little bit of that sandy beach just to give them a little sparkle. Not a lot. We want them to be primarily the green, but just a little bit of highlight, just a little bit of lift. So let's put that there. Then we'll come back once again with our gilded grape leaf. It's a lovely kind of a moss green. It's so nice to use with any of your natural leaves and stems and things like that. Whether you're doing glitter on acetate or whether you're working with your Wonder Film, whatever project you happen to have. Take your antistatic brush, clean it up, and see there's our little piece right there where we're going to actually stick that onto our card. Let's set him to the side. Find leaf number 2, there he is. Tap extra off, front and on the back. Let's give him a real good cleaning. And we'll set that to the side for just a second. Let's clean as we go. Once again, we'll just take that extra glitter, zip, right back into the little jar, just like that. Now, 2 wonderful leaves to add to our card. And you'll really be surprised at the little extra pizzazz that they're going to add to our card. Isn't that going to be lovely? And the neat thing is, all we have to do is peel that little balance of Wonder Film off, slide that in where we would like for it to be, give a little push right down there where that is, and we are adhered. Just that quick and easy. No additional tape or glue or anything else needed. Let's do the same thing right over here. We'll just kind of slide this in. Oh, I think it'd be kind of sweet right down in there. Actually, I'm going to push it up in there just a little bit more. There we go. Now, give it a good push, and there we go. And didn't that turn into a beautiful, beautiful card? Now we're going to look at some other cards made with other patterns in the gallery. Now here's our lovely card that we completed, the crocus pattern. One of my favorites is the water lily. Of course, it wouldn't be summer without a great sunflower. And with every spring, we've got a beautiful purple iris. A flower for all occasions. We just call it simple flower. And what would our garden be without the daisy? And last but certainly not least, our great primrose pattern. Isn't that just scrumptious?
I just know you enjoyed our class today on dimensional flowers. Aren't they just gorgeous and so easy to make? They're really a lot of fun. Well, we hope that if you're not already a member of our email family, you'll sign up so that we can let you know about other upcoming classes and also let you know about the kits that are available in the PK Glitz store. Until next time,